Hey guys, how is it going? It's Shaughnessy once again. So on today's LARP 101 episode, I'm gonna try to give you guys some advice on overcoming what I think can be one of the toughest hurdles for starting with LARP, and that is just getting a costume, something basic, something that, especially if you're, just starting out and you don't have a lot of money to spend on trying out Nero, some things that you can do to create a really effective LARP costume for, this one cost me just over $10. And I think if you go to the right thrift store on the right day, you can probably get these materials for under $10 as well. So, so the things that I grabbed, so first thing I grabbed, here we go. So I got some just really basic pants with a drawstring. I like to get pants with pockets just because you never know when you might want to stash something extra, especially something that you might not want somebody else to find. You are going to need some sort of pouch or something probably to really be effective, but you can grab Old Crown Royal bags are a great way to do that, a dice bag that you might have laying around for D&D. But these pants are good. You can go with sweatpants as well. Because I'm going to a summer event, I opted for something that was a little bit lighter than sweatpants. Some general guidelines for grabbing materials at the thrift store. So I went with really basic pants, and then I went with an oversized shirt. So if you can get it oversized enough, I can't because I'm pretty big. If you can get it oversized enough, you can actually kind of use it as a tunic. This is going to be a little bit more of a shirt for me, but I did get it oversized. So a few kind of basic tips on what to get when you go to the thrift store. And of course, it doesn't have to be a thrift store. You can go and get something new. Places like Walmart, Target, all good places to go. They might have more variety in sizes. You might have a little bit more choice, but it's going to be a little bit more expensive. And part of the goal of this video is to give you the tools you need to make a starter LARP costume for under $10 or around $10. So go for neutral colors, black, gray, earth tones like forest green, brown, especially because not only do I think that gives you a better appearance at the start when you're just coming in anyway, but it also is easier than as you kind of hopefully continue to play and build up your costume, it gives you a lot more avenues you can go in terms of adding more decorative, more brightly colored pieces over the top of it. And I think that it's a great way to start kind of that layering process that I think is really what makes a great LARP costume. It takes layers, and so we're building kind of the first layer today out of some rather inexpensive clothes that we got at the thrift store. So avoid pictures, logos, brand names, things like that. The World of Tira does not have Nike or Under Armour, and I think those are always things that kind of take you a little bit out of game. So I just went with plain black t-shirt, plain black pants. It's a good way to start. There are definitely other directions you can take it in as well. While you can apply a similar idea to the pants that I'm going to do with the shirt, I'm opting not to because I don't want to threaten the structural integrity of my pants during a LARP event because that's not fun. But super simple. So when you've got your oversized shirt, the first thing I do is I cut a hole just under the collar here. You could actually cut it into the collar if you wanted to. And then I really like to give it a good rip. Now, if you wanted it to look a little less rugged, you could trim around it. You could even trim around it and sew up the edges if you wanted to, but I like to go for really rugged. Sometimes I get a little off and need to give myself another little cut here. The ripped part of it just gives it, I think, this nice kind of feel to it. makes it feel worn in, kind of aged. And I think, you know, gives you kind of that look that you probably would have as a level 1 kind of starting character, which is that kind of basic peasant-y look, because you haven't really ascended very far from that yet. So we've got that rip. Another option you can do if you want to kind of do the next step on this to kind of elevate it just a little bit is you can actually put some holes in it, put some holes in the collar down on the chest here, and then you can put laces in and you can have that kind of lace up shirt look if you wanted to. So then the next part's pretty simple. We kind of do the same thing with sleeves. If you wanted to, this would be a place where you could go for like, you could do the kind of like crenulations, the kind of square pattern. If you wanted to go for that kind of like very like medieval kind of Robin Hood look. I like to just keep them, I like to just keep it looking nice and rustic, is the way I like to go. So I'm going to be doing the same thing here on the sleeves that I did on the collar. And then the other side. And the nice thing is, depending on what you're doing, you can always keep some of these pieces, either from the collar or the sleeves, and you can use them. Either you could tie them together and make like a super simple belt. You can use it to help attach something to your belt. You don't need to waste any of this. So I'm going to go throw this on so I can kind of show you what the finished product looks like. All right, so here we've got basically the finished product, right? So it's a good starting point. I look like I belong, at least roughly, in a fantasy world. All things for under $10. Remember to avoid those logos, brand names, those sorts of things. These nice neutral colors are a good way to start because then it's easy to throw other things on top. One thing I will say, I don't mind showing off a bit of chest hair, but if you do, or if you're, especially if you're a lady that's wanting to dress a little bit more conservatively, just be careful when you're ripping the collar. You can still do it, but you just have to make sure that you're doing it a little bit more carefully because it does create a rather large opening at the top, and that may just be not something that you want. So I hope this was helpful to you. If you're wanting more LARP videos and tutorials, please subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you at a future Nero event. Adventure on, ladies and gentlemen.